What do you make of that 1MDB defense?
I think he did a very good job on the conference call. He was sincere, passionate, and was obviously upset what happened. So I think David Solomon, in his first earnings call with the street community, did a very good job.
Does the ongoing coverage of the issue put a cap on the shares over the next, I don't know, year, two?
I think, Carl, I think you're onto something, because there's certainly going to be a cloud overhanging Goldman until this issue is resolved. We know there are investigations going on by the Department of Justice. The bank regulators are doing their investigations. So obviously we've got to get this resolved. Once that's resolved, then that cloud will go away. But yes, I'm with you. I think there is a cap that will be put on the stock vis-a-vis Bank of America or JP Morgan or Morgan Stanley, who are going to benefit from stronger capital markets like Goldman, but obviously do not have that cloud.
Gerard, speaking of Bank of America, their results strong. A lot of it having to do with the consumer. Consumer loans up 4% year over year. They touted how checking balances have risen for 40 quarters in a row. How much of that's at risk between some federal workers not getting money flowing into their accounts and some of the concerns about the consumer in general?
I think there will be probably some issues with the government workers, but you got to remember, Bank of America is an enormous organization, and the percentage of government workers that bank with Bank of America will probably not have a meaningful impact on delinquency statistics, should some of them go delinquent. And we don't know if they will, of course. But Bank of America's numbers were very strong across the board. As you pointed out, the consumer business was very strong. We saw that also at JP Morgan in their results that were released yesterday on the consumer side. So the consumer banking business for our biggest players is doing very well. And this obviously evidenced by the strength in consumer confidence and the employment picture, which gives consumers more confidence to go out and spend money and borrow money.
Gerard, week to date, financials, the top performing sector in the S&P 500. Obviously, we know what happened to the bank stocks last year. They got hammered, particularly in the second half of the year. Is this the beginning of a bigger, more sustained rally for the banks and for financials more broadly?
I think it is, and the reason being is, as you pointed out, the banks had a terrible fourth quarter of last year, particularly the month of December. And obviously, they're recovering very nicely from those low levels. But what's interesting, if the Federal Reserve is done raising rates this year, if you go back to the last three tightening cycles, the moment that the market or the banks sniffed out that the Fed was finished, they rallied. I'd also point out, since 1990, there have been 5 times where the bank stocks have gone down for a full calendar year, not due to credit problems. And in every single time, the bank stocks have recovered in the following year, and 4 out of 5 times the bank stocks have outperformed the S&P. We're off to a very good start this year. I think it's going to continue due to the strength of the economy, and that the Fed will pause in raising rates this year.